Megan, and we know better. And special guest, 2 weeks in a row, Glinda from Wicked.
Ginger, do you have anything to say? She's mourning the Wicked right now. She watched the end and she's a little upset.
Yeah.
We're recording this the day of the Wicked for Good premiere. Like, the day it drops.
Yes, true.
In the sense of, like, a movie comes out on a Friday and you can see it Thursday night. So, as you guys can reasonably assume, we did see it last night.
Yeah, and that's why we're dressed like this. I'm dressed in all gray because nothing in life matters anymore. I have nothing to look forward to because, like, what am I supposed to do now? So fair. I'm not in black because I'm not mourning because it was a good movie, but I'm in gray because, like, life is dull now.
It's like, was a female phenomenon in the sense of, I think it gave the entire female sex, sorry for using the word female, like a light and hope to look forward to, like, you know what I mean, for the past year.
Yes.
Like, we've all been Wicked AF for a whole 365 days.
Yeah, exactly.
Not that it's stopping for me, but, like, that, like, really excited for something. But,
sure,
like,
it was still, like, the anticipation of, like, you're living off the high of the other one, but you're like, there's another one coming and we're excited. And now it's like...
Yeah, and, like, I feel like I manufacture that feeling with anime releases, and I have really good ones coming out in 2026, so I can't really complain, but I get the vibe. I'm wearing my lesbian Disney sweater, which is official licensed Disney merch. Can you believe that? Like, not associated with Pride, they just made it, but, like, surely someone had to know something.
Surely
you know what I mean?
Surely whoever was on the design team
someone
was a
approved
lesbian,
this and like thought
like,
about it, you know what I mean?
Right.
Not that
They're
Disney
just pretty
is
colors.
homophobic per se. I actually think they do a fairly good job fairly good as giving them too much credit.
Yeah. In
comparison to other big corporations, they do a lot more and actually back it up as well. It's less... I'd still, in some level, perform it as with all capitalistic companies, but in some ways, like, they had all throughout the Disney parks when I was there this June, like, Pride stuff up, like, but not just merchandise, and they have these Pride balloons that had, like, so many different types of flags, like, non-binary, I think there was even a poly flag, and I was like, damn, that's really unexpected. But, I mean, but can we look at their movies? How many gay or casual, even just casually gay characters, not that many, so.
Right.
But in terms of, like, merch representation and stuff like that, they also still stick to actually fucking doing it, unlike a lot of companies.
Yeah, even post DEI.
I'm a big fan of this one, and that's why I wore it yesterday for Glinda. Which I am of the opinion that Ariana Grande purposefully played a lesbian closeted Glinda. I mean, she fucking says that she thinks Glinda... I saw a tweet that was like, the media training is going so deep because Ariana Grande will talk about her opinions of Glinda as a character, not the movie itself. And she's like, she's gay, she's a closeted lesbian, like that scene at the end where she's shoved in the closet, like, it's so, like, so many layers. And then, but you get her talking to promote the movie, and she was like, and this movie about friendship.
Right.
And someone also subtweeted that and was like, they had them in a room for 24 hours straight just repeating the term friendship over and over.
Friendship.
To make sure they didn't fuck it up.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm wearing this. And then Ginger is wearing her Glinda licensed Wicked merch dress.
Yes.
And she loves it.
Obviously.
She would be Glinda. Well, actually, she would be the wizard.
Yeah, she would be the wizard. She would be the wizard. Oh, girl.
Unfortunate, but true.
Yeah. But anyways, so all to say, because we just watched the movie yesterday, this is going to be a Wicked for Good episode. We're probably going to talk about it most of the time. So if you haven't seen it yet, come back when you have seen it.
Yeah.
Because
by the time this
we're
comes
assuming
out,
you are going to see it eventually, because otherwise, like, why are you watching this podcast?
Yeah.
Like,
and this podcast is coming 2.5 weeks after it's premiered, so I think that's plenty of time for us to do a shameless Wicked spoilers heavy episode, in my humble opinion. And if you haven't been, what the fuck? Like, that's insane of you and crazy.
I guess I give a little bit of leeway, because do you want to go to a movie theater and watch it? I mean, it's best watched in the movie theater, though, but, like...
Well, yes, though. There's only actually one singular person who I would be like, yeah, okay, leeway, and that's Ange, and that's because she's partially deaf, so movie theaters aren't always the most fun for her because she misses half of what they say.
Sure.
I haven't been successful yet, but there's some movies I've wanted to drag her to really bad. I took her to Wicked when it came out.
Yeah.
Like a month after it came out, I was like, girl, we're going.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what she prefers to watch shit at home, because she puts all the subtitles are just naturally always on my TV even here, because she's just set everything I own to subtitles on, and I'm just used to it. But I've been trying, because on the AMC app you can like put on for accessibility type viewings, and in Minnesota they actually do a decent amount, but when I go to the East Coast it's much less. So there was actually a Wicked showing yesterday that was accessible.
Oh, that's nice.
And there's a Zootopia one on the Wednesday. I'm gonna actually go see Zootopia. Can we talk about me being like, it's a Wicked episode, and me being about to say a statement about Zootopia?
Okay, that's fine.
What is but I'm also posing this to the audience, like, what is the view of Zootopia and its cross-examination with propaganda? Because it is propaganda, but also... No, but it is propaganda, because it's selling you the idea that the cops are going to be fair, but also I feel like the whole point is Nick and Judy are, especially in the first one, but I think this one is also posing a pretty clear comparison to immigration in terms of... and racism as well, in terms of... the immigrated reptiles. That's what it's about, and how everyone hates the reptiles and thinks they're dangerous. And the first movie, you know, is talking about predators are dangerous because of the stereotype that they're dangerous, etc. And it's talking, and all this is taking place in a big city. But like Nick and Judy are uncovering, you know, the mystery in the first one to prove that the prejudice that the cops already operate under and the society operate under is wrong. So I think that teaches a pretty good lesson.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they are cops, and Judy's dream is to be a cop.
Yeah. No, I agree. But I think, you kind of hit it. It's more... She has an understanding that all cops are good, and that everything is going to go well for her. And I guess not just cops, but people in authority are good. And then that's kind of what the movie's about, is finding out that that's not true. And she gets kind of disappointed and discouraged, and like ends and leaves. And then, so...
It's kind of a gray area, I feel like.
Yeah, because it is still propaganda, but in a way it's kind of like... I think it's more...
I think it wants to be... I think the messaging at the movie's core is sort of not anti-cop, but more like
it's
pro-reform.
Yeah. Is really what it is. It's like reform.
But I will say, I don't think you can fully say that it is, because at the end... Judy stays a cop, and also Nick Wilde becomes a cop with her. Well, after his previous viewpoint that all cops are corrupt.
Well, that's why it's reform, though. It's not about abolishing the police. It's about reforming the police.
Right, but at the end of the day, the happy ending is that they join the police force. Yeah. And in its way,
no, exactly. That's why it's still propaganda, because it's not... But I mean, like, it's also two different perspectives of the left. It's like, do we reform the police or do we abolish it? And not everyone is pro-abolishing. They more, let's reform it. And that's, I think, what the stance the movie takes, which is still, at the end of the day, then you're still reinforcing that there should be a police system, and that we just need to fill good people into the police system. I'm not saying that these things are correct. I'm just saying what the movie is going for. Yeah. So, I mean... It's
interesting, because also, back then, I didn't clock any propaganda. I mean, I watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine and stuff like that, and I think Brooklyn... Which, okay, I have, like, it's both. I think Brooklyn Nine-Nine is funny, and I also think Andy Samberg himself is actually funny. Yeah. In the way that, Adam... What the fuck is the other guy's name? Adam Sandler is not. I think Andy Samberg is... I'm sure he has bad takes. He's a man. But bad comedy. But I think Andy Samberg is funny, while Adam Sandler is not. Even though they sort of... Their comedies are similar in ways, but not really. They were in a movie together. I'm sure.
They played father-son.
Yeah, I believe that.
I just saw a clip of it the other day. I'm like, what is this?
And I believe that.
Trash.
And I think that, but I also think now as an adult, when I watch it, I'm like, and that's clear propaganda, I fear. Like, hardcore. Because it's not about... I mean... In my opinion, a piece of work doesn't have to be telling you cops are good explicitly to be reinforcing that idea. And the fact that Brooklyn Nine-Nine is lighthearted and fun and shows the daily lives of these cops, it reinforces this idea that the structure within the system of the police is just not inherently corrupt in teaching and making men into dangerous monsters.
Sure. Definitely. I think it...
But it's also funny, so.
Yes. But I think... I don't know if Brooklyn Nine-Nine is but I think your point is definitely true for a lot of crime dramas in general. True. I think Brooklyn Nine-Nine is a hard example because it just makes all the characters look stupid. It makes cops look dumb. Like, if cops were actually like that, which, you know, obviously it's not as lighthearted, but you're like, you guys are actually all dumb.
True, but, like, Andy Samberg's character, he's, like, a stupid guy, but he's good at being a cop. And so
but he's still
the
stupid.
woman he ends up with, I know, but it's like,
yeah,
I don't think, I guess I don't, I do think it makes, the characters are dumb, but I don't think it makes all cops look dumb. They play into certain characters being the dumb, something in Sully, the older ones, they definitely play that stereotype of, the dumb man cop.
Right.
But I would argue, even though a lot of the characters are silly, they're like his whole personality trait. Andy Samberg's character is like, he's dumb as fuck, but somehow he's crimes, like smart in terms of like cop shit.
Yeah.
But then you take him out of that scenario and you're like, so you're dumb as rocks.
Right.
So, but all that to say, I think that's both. But I also think that I do watch and can watch Zootopia 1 and 2. Meanwhile, as an adult, I don't want to watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I wouldn't seek it out. I don't think I would, like, you know, in the way that I would never let my kid watch the Paw Patrol, I wouldn't be like, none of my friends can watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
Paw Patrol is a poor example because that's more... There was a specific one that I'm looking for, but there's some specific kid show with... I mean, Paw Patrol, the main guy is a cop, but, like, there's other sectors in the that's a little bit different. But in the way that I wouldn't let my kid watch Copaganda, I don't really feel that way about Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I don't really care who watches Brooklyn Nine-Nine, you know what I mean? Sure. I just don't want to do it. I wouldn't seek it out now that I'm older.
Yeah, that's fair.
And can see those things.
Yeah.
All that to say, I'm going to go see Zootopia 2, and I'm still unsure on my stance of whether I think it's...
I think maybe this movie will be a better tell of it if they're trying to show that, like, because obviously, like you said, like, there's kind of an immigration discrimination take that's going on here. Are the police going to solve the situation? I think that'll be a good telling of how propaganda it is. That's true. Because I'm interested to see how politically relevant it is. Not that I have a lot of faith in Disney, but I do think maybe this is also just because our societal, socio-political situation doesn't really change over the years, so things still, as they come out, are as politically relevant as before. But I feel like maybe it's because I'm more self-aware of it. But I think right now so many movies are hitting on so direct parallels to real things that are happening in the world that it's really cool and interesting and disheartening when, like, people are dumb as bricks and don't understand the media literacy, but also cool to see the, like, Superman. You know what I mean? I thought Wicked Part 2, to get back on it, somehow Part 2 also hit the exact right time, the way that I thought Wicked Part 1 hit at the exact right time, because Wicked Part 1 came out right as Donald Trump got reelected. Yeah. Or reelected from, you know what I'm saying. And Part 1 is all about realizing that the figurehead, the leaderhead is not who he thinks he is, from the perspective of someone who believes everything in him. And men in power and the rise of fascism. And then Part 2 is how do we get rid of the fascism, and what is the fascism, what is the repercussions of allowing it to come to power. Right. Which is like, I was watching it and I was like, no, damn, this shit too real. The timing was all right. Was like, it's kind of sus. It's kind of sus. Yeah, like how The Simpsons predicts everything. Yeah. How did Wicked know that this would be happening at this exact time? Like, I don't know. But also, like, the musical is so fucking that's why when I watched Wicked Part 1, I was so floored, I think, as well, because I was feeling the emotion so raw. True. With the rise. I'm not that fascism isn't still rising, but I would argue we're farther along the fact that it's fucking risen than the fear and the disappointment that we're not stopping it from last year. Do you know what I mean? I think it's a little bit of a different feeling, and it hits so hard, especially because Elphaba's a woman. And, like, seeing that end scene, I can't watch, like, from when she performs the spell on Chistry for the first time. The last time I watched Wicked, started crying then through Defying Gravity. It's, like, 40 minutes straight. Yeah. Because I'm like,
God. But
I mean, yeah, just a horrible feeling to realize that the people. I think it's like, it's not technically a coming of age movie, but in a way it kind of is, because it's like part of your growing up is realizing that the people that you thought were supposed to save you in humanity and be good for the world and help you are not actually like that. Mm-hmm. And so it's just devastating to see, because it also happens in quick succession.
I think that Wicked undersells its coming of age themes. Like, I think it should have really hammered that. I think a big thing I think they missed in promoting this second part is nailing home the idea that we're coming into a time skip. I mean, the movie makes it obvious, I will say. You know what I mean? Like, they don't say it outright, like, 5 years later.
Right.
But, like, it makes it obvious. The lion cub they save is, like, some young adult type of... It's full grown, but it's young. But, you know, it's fully fucking grown. It was this big, now it's fucking huge.
Yeah.
We got a whole road that we saw them putting brick by brick down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Elphaba got her whole fucking treehouse shit going on, and you could see she has plans that have been being executed, and I almost said propaganda again, and propaganda all over, and, you know, a lot of shit. And it's crazy that they filmed this all at once, interchanging which scenes from part 1 and 2. Like, they didn't just do part 1 and then film part 2. It was all simultaneous.
Right. Because
their physical appearance appears older as well. Crazy job by the acting and makeup, and also the acting as well. But I think in its promotion, being, like, so clear, like, now, like, I don't know. I don't have a good example of what I'm saying, but I think that there could have been promotional content that really drove home, like, what's going to happen now that 5 years have passed? What's going to happen now that, you know...
Because I think most people are like, coming in expecting a continuation. Or, there's two sides. There's people who are treating this movie like a sequel, which it's not. It's part 2 of a part 1. Or there's people coming in thinking it's like a direct continuation, which is directly after, and that would be pretty jarring, and you're not going to understand exactly all the situations if you're thinking that they went from yesterday to today.
Right.
And suddenly everything has kind of changed and things have updated. Which, again, is like, it's pretty obvious that it's been some time, but if you consider that, you know, it's been a length of time for sure, that kind of changes how you maybe see the relationships in the movie.
Yeah. And I think Wicked, the source material play itself, fails itself in making that huge time skip in a lot of ways. I get why kind of things pan out the way you do, because the Wicked sets out to explain the backstory of the Wicked Witch of the West and the Good Witch, right? And so we're having them back to school and that they know each other. Genius idea, genius concept, genius writing. But then you have to come do this part 2. Okay, but now we need to know where all the characters from Wizard of Oz, how they become who they are. Mm-hmm. So you need that explanation for the Tin Man, and you need the explanation for the Lion, and you need the explanation for the Scarecrow, and it has to happen. That's a lot of shit to happen.
It's just a lot.
And fucking Nessa has to straight up die.
Yeah,
like,
right.
A lot of shit has to happen, and like, how would you write that in a way that doesn't feel very fast-paced, if that makes sense? But I think it really, the writing itself hurts itself in the sense of, like, so years have gone by, and, like, things have been sort of, I mean, it's destabilized, but stable in the sense of Elphaba tries to fuck shit up, but isn't majorly successful, and she goes back to her shit. Glinda's just being like, and everything's fine, look at me, and everything's, like, fine. Mm-hmm. But then all of a sudden, like, shit happens, like, what, in a matter, how long is, like, I will say I don't understand quite the timeline of the events of Wicked Part 2. Like, is that happening over months? Or is that happening over, like, weeks? Because it sort of feels like, oh my gosh, 5 years, sort of, like, unstable stability of, like, this new world they live in, but then it's like, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I get the catalyst of that is Elphaba getting frustrated at her lack of progress and her push. Like, there are explanations, but, like, do I fully think that they were written well? Not really, is my take.
Sure.
This is not critique of the movie. This is critique of the play. It's the fucking straight up source material. Mm-hmm. As an adaptation, I think because a big thing Wicked Part 2, or the second act, really struggles with as well, is Glinda does all the actions that she does in the movie part 2, but we are not seeing as much in her head and as much her emotional development. We just know that she goes from being, you know, the good witch and being kind of a piece of shit to straight up being the catalyst that kills her sister, fighting with her, being pissed that Elphaba stole her man, and then being like, all of a sudden, like, no, I'm gonna do what's right.
Yeah.
And it doesn't track super well in the play.
Yeah.
But I think the movie elevates it really well.
And also adding in Girl in the Bubble. Is that what it's called?
Yes. And like all of the scenes with Glinda, it was very Glinda focused, which I think helped it. Yeah. Because now we're seeing her thought process. We're seeing what's holding her back. We're seeing what she's reacting to that's causing her to make these detrimental decisions that are going to harm Elphaba and stuff like that. Which I can really appreciate that the movie did. But the writing in general for the source material, not great. And there's like so many scenarios where like shit just like has to happen, but it does to get from point A to point B. Like escaping the wedding. How are we escaping the wedding? We're like, okay, you have the wizard. He's taken out, right? He's not gonna get us. You're gonna get on your broom and you're gonna fly away with Fiyero. Mind you, in later scene, she can't just fuck off with Fiyero. Fiyero gets captured. But they're not riding the broom when they fuck off after the wedding. They just run off. We don't know how they both ride the broom or whatever the fuck. How do they get away, right?
True.
But seemingly, they would have had a getting away with the monkeys after them and Madame Marble after them from the wedding. And you're telling me...
the monkeys were already freed at that point.
Oh, you're right. But Madame Marble and the guards...
I mean, they didn't come until allegedly they were gone, but assuming that they didn't take the broomstick, it's like,
even if they took the broomstick, Madame Marble couldn't fucking walk outside and been like, well, maybe I should just try as hard as I can. Like, how fucking fast can they... Could they have really vacated the castle itself faster than Madame Marble could walk in the room? Like,
I think that really just goes to Madame Marble's character in general, is why didn't she just fucking kill Elphaba? She can drop a house on a bitch. She can do a lot, so I think it's more about her character and her thing was her, what's her job? Press secretary? Wasn't that technically her title? Yeah. Her job is make them look bad, make us look good. If we get Elphaba ruining the wedding, we don't really need to catch her. I mean, I guess at this point, Elphaba's a liability. Now they just want her people to go after her to kill her. It's not about capturing.
I know,
Elphaba
but
at
I'm
this
just
point.
saying, like in the writing of part 2 itself, how can they can get away, but then. With I get that the guards would have tried to stop them, but I would argue her on the broom is fast enough to just grab him and fuck off. They're ground.
I would agree.
They're ground. They can't fly. Glinda doesn't have any magic to stop her.
And we see him at the beginning. She freaking beats up the people.
Right,
at
but
the
like we need him to be captured because we need the Scarecrow to come about. You know what I mean?
No, that's fair.
And like we need the whole idea is Elphaba keeps failing and she doesn't. So her attempts of good are tamped down by her own discouragement from seeing all the bad she has wrought on with good intention, and like sort of seeing herself become the wicked witch per se from her own perspective. I get why in terms of like plot wise how we need to get to point A and point B, but just some of the details, like even in watching the movie, I think you notice some of them more where it's like, why did that happen in that way? There was a million other different outcomes.
Sure.
But I mean, it's faithful to the adaptation, and as in terms of an adaptation, great job. I just think Wicked Part 2, it really reminded me, I was like, and there's a reason that this movie is very famous for its first act. I would argue, though, it's famous for its first act, and yes, all the songs there, but I think the second act songs themselves quite have a fandom of their own and a life of their own. But not a lot of people are obsessed with the plot of Part 2. But, like, No Good Deed has its flaw. People love No Good Deed for good. Like, you can't just... No one's hating on those songs, per se.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, what else? Our opinions on the movie. I mean, yeah, we loved it. We cried. Or I guess I can speak for myself. But, for good, obviously. And then, the scene where they are on the two sides of the closet, which I said is giving Jack and Ennis when they think they're going to see each other for the last time when they leave Brokeback Mountain. That is exactly that, like the exact same feeling. So like this was more Yuri than the first one, I think.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
The opening card where it says like Wicked for good,
the
same way that it said Wicked Part 1, field of fucking lesbian flowers.
Yeah.
That felt intentional.
Right. Yeah.
Also, can I go live in that part of Munchkin Land? The lesbian flower sector?
Yes, but let's just kick all the box out. You don't need any of that.
Honestly, I think...
He pissed me off. Why are, like, serious? I don't know. I mean, not anything, like, what was done to him is, like, horrible per se, but, like, what do you mean you're in love with Glinda at first glance? And then that's
his love for Glinda is annoying, but I do
You don't even know that girl. Oh my god, man pissed me off. Like, what do you... That's literally... He's the definition of, like, taxi cab theory.
Fair,
it's like, his light was on, he saw Glinda, and then that was it for him. That's all he wanted.
Fair. I don't know if that's...
piss me off.
Taxi cab theory, though, because he's not going to college thinking, I want to get married right now.
Well, no, but, like, the idea taxi that cab theory is that when the light is on, they're ready.
Yeah, I don't think he went into college with the intention
Well, it's not like saying, but it's
but
like...
that is what it's saying. Taxi cab theory is you settle down with the person when the men settle down with, not because they love the woman so much they want to settle down, they settle down when they feel it's time to settle down, and the woman who's just there happens to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I wouldn't argue he went to college being like, I want a long-term... I mean, you could make the argument. I just don't think it...
Well, I guess I don't see where the going to college has to do with it.
Because that's when he meets her.
Yeah, but if he was just ready when he saw her, then that's it. Like, I don't think going to college has to do with it.
I don't think that is the taxi cab theory. I think he sees her and is so... the whole idea, like, he doesn't fucking know her. I agree. Like, he just get, like, the tendency for men to see a girl and be so infatuated with her and know nothing about her and making it their whole thing that they're in love with her, even though, like, they don't know the first thing about her. I agree
Sure.
I do think it's interesting, though, because I think him and Nessa mirror each other. She's perpetuating the same situation onto him that he perpetuates onto Glinda, and he's still, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he, despite being literally fucking trapped in it, does not see his own error of the fact that he projects onto Glinda as well. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's I think it's befitting of his character that is the situation he gets stuck in a way.
Yeah, definitely. But anyways,
and Nessa's anger, it's like, it's interesting, her anger that he does not love her, or I guess Nessa's like frustrations and anger is interesting, that Bach thinks she's so evil for that as well, when it's like, baby, you're doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. It's interesting. I think they're very interesting characters, and them as a relationship is interesting, that like they are essentially two halves of the same dynamic being shoved right at each other. But I think Ethan Slater did a really good job of making... He was, like, the scene of his transformation, like, very scary.
Yeah.
And him wanting to escape, like, you felt like, oh, he is a prisoner.
Right.
And, like, when she went to change him, like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then him as a Tin Man, he was giving, like, no heart, horrifying, scary. Like, I really liked his portrayal of the Tin Man. I think that was a very serious and horrifying take that I could appreciate.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. And what else was I gonna say? I liked the changes they made to Nessa's character. I'm not gonna say that the original play is ableist. I don't know if I'm, the right person to comment on that, but that was like the main motivation, was to make it more not villainizing the disability of being in a wheelchair. That was the whole point. And so some people didn't like that change, and some people also thought Nessa wasn't evil enough.
I think her dynamics really sold it, though, with Bach. Like, she didn't even say to his face, I'm gonna... She said, you're right, you go. And he takes him getting to the train station to be like, oh, and now he's fucked over my entire race of... She's fucked over my entire race of people to entrap me. She didn't even say it to his face. She was just like, and he gonna be coming back by force.
Yes. And then acting like everything's normal and like, well, now you need to call me by my name. Like, what's wrong with you? Like don't call me madam.
Like, the threat of the fact that she doesn't even have to threaten him to his face.
Yeah.
Like, that level of
No,
power.
and I agree, but yeah, I think
the scene felt quick. But I think that's maybe not a movie thing. That might just be the nature of the play thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because again, it's like there's a lot to get to. We can't spend time dwelling on,
because I feel like
the situation.
I think her and Elphaba's relationship in part 2 leading to that scene isn't developed enough to feel the emotions that scene is asking of you, for like in terms of them and her wanting to help her and what's it called? And I think we are seeing that Nessa has the similar feelings to how Elphaba felt her whole life, of this otherness and like not fitting in and stuff, and that's why she's sort of taking this quick turn into wicked approach of keeping Bach here and trying to all this stuff. I just think it happens very fast, that you don't feel it to the level of like Nessa feels the image that everyone views Elphaba as. She's like stepping into that role and she's feeling it herself, and she you know, they don't like, Elphaba and her don't have that sort of mutual knowledge that they have similar feelings to each other, but they're reacting to it differently, and that there's just so many things. I guess my conclusion is that scene leaves so much more of that dynamic to be explored, as well as Nessa as a character to be explored, that I feel isn't, in a way, and that I don't feel strong emotion for that loss of a sibling. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I was gonna say
it makes her death feel
cheap.
didn't feel super impactful to me, or to Elphaba and things like that.
Especially because I know it's how the act ends, but the point that they leave it at is like, she's like, I'm not helping you again, like, I'm gone, like, goodbye. She's like, because Nessa's like, don't leave me, and she's like, bye. And so, but we don't get and even in the first movie, like, they don't interact that much.
Right, like,
to be able
so
to
much
say, like,
there that,
like,
pays off in part 2 that we don't get from play or movie.
Yeah.
Between them. Like, there's so many really cool dynamics in that they're living the same thing. Nessa doesn't want to be coddled, and Elphaba tries to respect that, but also Nessa knows that Elphaba has had this power, and in a way wants her to be there for her, but then Nessa never there for Elphaba, and I was always taking from Elphaba, so Elphaba doesn't want to give. There's so many cool avenues and ways of their sibling dynamic and how they were raised and how shit went down and shiz and then afterwards that I think would be really interesting to explore. There's just not time and
exactly,
and focus for the bigger picture of Wicked, but
because you're already focusing on the female bonding between Elphaba and Glinda, I think it's hard for them to do another bonding between Nessa and Elphaba, but like, I feel like it would have been important to all of it to, like, because you're told the one thing that matters to her is her sister, which we get it because she does feel responsibility over her sister, but like, we don't feel that. We're like, she don't seem like she really care about this bitch though. Like, she do. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing that she genuinely cares.
And I think Glinda saying go for her sister also loses some emotional impact. Well, it does and it doesn't, because it's like, wow, only Glinda would know that about Elphaba, but it's interesting that that's Glinda's viewpoint of Elphaba as well, when we don't ever see them really talk about Nessa besides right after the Ozdust, when they first become friends, when she's talking about what really happened to Nessa, that Nessa doesn't even know, mind you, like why she was paralyzed and things like that. And that it's her fault and she believes that, and you know, Glinda being like, I do think that has a fair payoff actually with that specific scene. But I wish, like,
it's
that
more,
dynamic of the trio, I think, would have been I don't know,
I'm thinking it gives more like,
it gives understanding of your pain, not like how much you love Nessa and how much
it's guilt. It's like out of guilt and responsibility versus like an actual sister bonding. Which is like, I guess maybe it's just like us being sisters, where like we want to see like your genuine love for her, even though she's put you through all this. We know you have the love in your heart for her, and we want to see that. But really, the movie just gives like, I just feel guilty because of what I did and I put her through.
I guess what I meant by like that trio dynamic of like, we don't really see the dynamic of Elphaba and Nessa really at all, and how does Nessa fit in that friend group, because you know they form like a friend group with Fiyero and Bach in a way, and also you don't see the dynamic of how Glinda perceives their relationship with each other. Which I think cheapens a little bit. Which, like I said, not really a critique of the movie per se, because the movie's already adding dynamics and adding deepness from the source material that is, like you said, like boom, 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 especially in part 2. But just like an interesting, I guess, think about like the story itself.
What else? That CGI for young young wizard was ass. I just don't. I think that's a classic failure of just believing your audience is going to be too dumb to understand, and then making like having to put that shit in because of it. Because it's like truly like when you get to that point, do we really need to see his face to know that he was the damn father? Like, it's obvious.
Literally.
It's obvious at that point. So do we really need to see the face? But it's like, no, audience is going to be too stupid enough. We have to get this stupid CGI to make him look young so that you could understand, because you can't do him while old, because then the audience will think that he was having sex with her while old, and that's weird, and like, but that you're just assuming the audience is dumb.
And I honestly think they could have just left Jeff Goldblum as he is.
I think so
like,
too.
Yes, he looks older, but he's not ugly. Like, and her mom is clearly an adult. Like, to me, like, I guess I wouldn't.
Actor, like, seriously, like, we couldn't have been able to infer. Like, I don't know.
I guess, like, I wouldn't have read that much into like that age dynamic if you just showed Jeff Goldblum there.
Yeah,
you know? Or,
exactly.
Or show Jeff Goldblum sneaking out that night and like in the kind of the cover of dark, so you're not getting like a full lit. Oh, he's old.
Exactly.
If you really need to imply it that obviously.
Exactly. It's just like putting that one shot that it just like genuinely was like, oh, what is that? Yeah. It was horrible. It was scary. That TikTok you sent with that ugly like filter on was so real. It looked exactly like that. They just put him like on a heavy ass beauty filter and like, yes, that's young Jeff Goldblum. Like,
do you know what people were also saying about a character CGI? They were saying that the Scarecrow's appearance, I don't think he was CGI. Looks like Ryan Reynolds. Yeah. And I was like, well, shit, now I can't unsee it.
It does look like Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, I fear true.
I mean, they kind of...
Okay, but listening to As Long As You're Mine today on the soundtrack, I have a new appreciation for Elphaba and Fiyero. On paper, I actually do really like the ship of Elphaba and Fiyero. Do I like it more than Glinda and Elphaba? Not necessarily, but I do think that they make so much sense in terms of their characters and their character arcs. Like, they just do. But I think Ariana Grande plays such a gay Glinda that it makes it hard to be like, and I want them to be together, not Glinda and Elphaba.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Also, would a Polly save this? Yes. But, I can appreciate it though, because like they're the only people that ever see each other. I guess Glinda sees her. I'm explaining this in a poor way, but I've been seeing a lot of tweets on both ends because my whole feed is wicked. Yeah. People being like, I wish there wasn't a heteronormative needed romantic storyline to like interrupt. Like, we don't need that. And I'm like, I don't think it's that poorly written though. I think it makes sense. And also like, I don't know, like, Elphaba, all she wanted is to be liked and to be quote unquote, for people to understand her and see past, and like, she's always jealous. The reason her and Glinda are such a great dynamic is because they inherently have what the other lacks and wants so badly, right? Yes. And in Fiyero choosing Elphaba and not Glinda, it's finally getting that piece of something that not Glinda specifically has, but like the popularity and the likingness and the people understand, like wanting to be around her, getting that a taste of that in the same way, and it works because in the end, what does Elphaba left with at the end of the character arc? She's left with that they both end up with the thing that they wanted, that they craved from the other, because Glinda now has the magic powers and the Grimoire and can be the witch, while Elphaba gets to be with Fiyero and have that love from him. Like, they each got what they were jealous of from each other as their ending, but while also understanding, I don't know.
But see how the storyline is still based off of the relationship between Elphaba and Glinda.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
I agree. I'm just like, I'm not as pro Fiyero.
Fair. I don't know. I'm not.
It just doesn't make, it doesn't, I guess, it does. Like, it's written well. I just can't, this is coming as someone that's not a big romance fan, so it's hard for me to get into those things. I don't usually feel some sort of compassion or relation or interest in a man that's like, you're first interested in her because she's different than all the other girls. I just don't, I don't like it. I don't
agree. That's why
it was the first thing he saw with the whole first scene is
she's interested in him because him. He's interested in her because she doesn't immediately fall at his feet. And yes,
Yeah,
that's because she's different, but that's
than every
because
other
she
girl.
actually... Yeah, but she's seeing past his persona, which is why they work, because they both see past each other's personas right from the bat. Which is that dynamic. I guess I agree, but I also think it's deeper than that, I think.
No, that's right, but, you know...
Fair.
Surface
Fair, but I
level
also
and,
think this is one of the better written men. And not as a main character, but as a love interest, and I also think one who I find likable. So I guess I'm a bit more defensive of him because I find a lot of other love interests unlikable and also bad partners, and I think he's neither of those things.
That's
I think
fair.
he's a good partner and he's quite likable.
Right.
But I mean, them getting together and that is all feels quite rushed too, but that's because, you know, we're under the assumption he has been the last time they see each other is that right outside this train, and he's wearing the poppy, and it's obvious that he is hiding feelings for her, and he's looking at her in the eyes being like, I've been thinking about that night, and they're acknowledging that there's sort of something there, but they're never gonna say it, and they assume that there's going to be time that they're like, that it's okay to not say it because they're gonna see each other again, even if it's under but under the circumstances of him being with Glinda, do you know what I mean? And that there's not a chance, I'm explaining this poorly, but they don't assume that's the last time they're going to see each other. They're like, it's okay if we can't confess right now because there's time. But then there isn't, and that's all Fiyero is left with.
Right.
And then he is searching for her for 5 years. And it's like, well, and he's searching with her with the intention that as soon as I find her, I'm going to go with her, and I'm going to help her. And she, on the other hand, this whole time does not know because of he's publicly with Glinda, he's in the guard, and she saw from Glinda, you know, like, she's left with this taste in her mouth of like, I still love Glinda and Glinda loves me, but she also chose them, you know what I mean? And so she's assuming Fiyero's on that side, and also maybe also believes the propaganda about her because she always assumes the worst of how other people view her. So it's like, yeah, of course the first time they meet, they're gonna run off together and have sex because, like, there's that 5-year buildup. It's just, it's not written well enough that the audience feels it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
But in premise...
You can't show 5 years of yearning.
Right. But in premise, I can appreciate that. And I can also appreciate that they cast Jonathan Bailey because he is such a good yearning actor. Like, he has his fucking credentials that he almost makes it believable. He makes it as believable as I believe that it could be with the pacing of 1 and 2.
He really, anytime that man is on his knees, I'm like, yes.
Right, yeah.
But really, like I said, I think the pulling the first scene when he's like told that he's gonna be married to Glinda, and he's like, I'm not interested in whatever makes you happy. I'm like, the point is obviously that he's in love with Elphaba, but I'm like, he's pulling information from being a gay man and not wanting to be married to a woman, because that's what it felt like to me. It was like, ooh, like, I don't want to marry you, you're a girl. That's what it gave to me. Yeah. But no, I can appreciate the relationship. It's just, it's not as deep to me as Elphaba and Glinda, and so I just can't believe, like, why would you want to spend your life with him when you have her?
Right. Well, that's also, I think, the plot holes of the writing of the OG source, of the fact that, like, Elphaba really did not have to flee all of Oz. There's so many other solutions to that. Yeah. And Glinda didn't have to not know that she fucking is alive. Like, there's also so many other loopholes to that, but you need to for the story, and for Glinda to learn the lesson, to drive home, to then be the good witch, and also for that sort of perfect, because I do think the ending is perfect in terms of where the characters' stories are as opposed to, like, the actual plot. And, like, how I just talked about, that they each sort of end the story with getting the thing that they crave the most from the other, while also learning the lesson that the other had to teach them to get to that point, if that makes sense. So I think that's really beautiful. Do I think that Fiyero and Elphaba had to fucking flee forever? No. Yeah. Plot-wise, no, they didn't really have to.
John Chu says that he's looking into making more in the universe, so you never know what happens. And it's not going to be based on the books, because there is the son of a witch.
Honestly, part of me, as it was leading up to For Good, and as For Good was happening, I was like, I don't know if they're gonna stick to the for real ending. I was like, genuinely, like, one, I was like, oh, maybe she for real is dead, like, which is, like, so stupid. But also in the end, I was like, when she was, like, revealing that she was alive, I was like, And maybe she's just gonna go back to Glinda, maybe.
Yeah,
I was
maybe.
like, you know what I mean? Like, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, maybe they're just gonna completely... There was, like, a small part, like, I knew this wasn't gonna happen, but when you open with the lesbian color, like, card, I was like, and maybe a small part of me thinks they're gonna live happily ever after, or at least some... Actually, I would argue...
Well, did you see...
This movie, unlike the play, in a very specific way, sort of just does a love confession.
Well, they say, I love you.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Like, it's a very... And then she
Gelphie got I love you, Fiera, but did not get an I love you. Just saying.
I thought
They never said I love each other.
I thought they did in the woods, but maybe it's more so implied. But, I'm not arguing either way. I'm on the side of Gelphie got a straight up love They got a tearful, doomed Yuri love confession, and then a literal pushing Glinda into the closet to save their prospective fates. To save Glinda's fate, specifically. To not doom Glinda to the life that Elphaba was thinking of, like, the fleeing, but, like, in Glinda's perspective, the death.
Right.
The tragic end. Yeah. To save Glinda, push her back in the closet. And to me, I was like, and that could not be more explicitly doomed Yuri.
It really, really was. Also, before we've got more, the end shot... being the playbill, oh my god, like, I know I'm gonna cry when I see that, like, again, when I'm gonna watch it with my sisters. Like, I'm going, like, why would they do that? I mean, I know that it's beautiful, I'm glad they did, but, like, the fact that they didn't end up together, and then you're just gonna end shot me with them being so intimate.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
actually
and
mad!
that scene kind of gave wedding. Like, why is Glinda in a fucking white a white veil, sorry.
Yes.
And, like, Elphaba's in all black, you know, like, and they're, like, dressed... Also funny, that's what I'm appreciating both sides of the pro and anti-Fiero, but I guess I'm somewhere in the middle of, like, some people are, like, really absolutely hating it, and, like, it takes away from Elphaba and Glinda, and it's horrible.
To the story. I'm not gonna say that, but
it's funny watching all the opinions on Twitter, and someone was like, and let's talk about that scene, because they're there canoodling in front of everyone, and Fiero's just fucking there doing jack all, and you're telling me that Fiero's the one who ran away with her, and not Elphaba, or not Glinda, like...
There's a screen clip where it's Elphaba, and then Glinda leaning her head on Elphaba, and then Fiero just, like, off like this. And someone said, I know Ariana Grande got that picture hung up on her wall.
And, like, just all that to say, they would make the best outcome of a love triangle polycule. Yeah. My favorite example, might I say, because, in my opinion, this is how the polycule's gonna look. All of that shit went down, right? And now they're all, instead of running away, Fiero's like, let's go kiki up with Glinda. We're gonna go hide out in the Emerald City until shit can, like, blow over for a while or some shit, right? They're all living in the city, right? Mm-hmm. I guess in this scenario, Fiero's also a human, which, like, I'm just saying, like, the ideal end for this polycule is, like, Glinda and Elphaba in a monogamous relationship with each other. Not monogamous, but, like, no one besides this polycule. You know what I mean?
Right.
Closed polycule with Fiero. Fiero can date and fuck whoever else. But he also is dating and fucking them, and they're also in love in a really serious way. Mm-hmm. Like, to me, that's the perfect outcome for that dynamic. Because I do think that, yes, Fiero's whole thing is somewhat a front for the fact that he does feel quite deeply and has these, and wants to stand up for things that he believes in. He's just too afraid and doesn't think it's worth the risk for himself. Mm-hmm. And in that way is kind of just, like, fucking at everyone. Him being pansexual is actually the perfect sexual identity for his character as well. And I think part one playing into that, I was like, and yes, because why would he just be fucking women? He don't give a fuck about shit. Mm-hmm. He fucking everyone because he there for the good time. Whoever want him, he want.
Right.
And that's why, and I get his, I guess, arc is that he feels things more deeply, but I don't think in my ideal polycule that I'm seeing for them, he erases that part of himself completely. Why can't he be a little slut and also be in a relationship with them two? But, like, them two, they're not little sluts on the side. Only him.
Mm-hmm. Well, they don't need to. That's
right,
the thing.
exactly.
They don't need to.
Like, they love him, and they love each other in, like, a serious monogamous way, but they also kind of love him. Yeah. But then he can also just be, like, a little slut, and that's fine.
It's kind of giving pet. It's kind of giving with our pet Fiero. Especially now that he's a scarecrow now. Like, he ain't really got much to do.
He's not a scarecrow in my head of their polycule, but yeah.
In the correct ending, no one had to be turned into a scarecrow, and they would have just lived happy ever after.
Well, in my opinion, there was no, like, besides the fact that he had to be the Scarecrow, ain't no reason that scene had to go the way it did.
No, exactly. They could have just said, he would have said, I want both of them. Now what? And then they just they all step out hand in hand and they say, we're a polycule now.
Okay, and you know what also sells the polycule ganda of me saying that Wicked should have ended a polycule, and in some ways I feel it kind of did. It didn't, but like, let's just say, that's what I'm saying. Triple rainbow. And that end scene. Yeah. Triple rainbow is polycule. Important. It's a throuple. Yeah. Because there's a rainbow for each of them because they're all gay and they're all in love.
Exactly. And wait, I was gonna say I didn't catch it when I first watched it, but in the Grimoire, there's a note to Glinda from Elphaba. Oh. We don't see it. It's just addressed to her. What could that mean? Could that mean something?
Like, if you want to come catch up with the polycule, we're gonna be out in the desert. Come find us.
Literally, come visit us when you need something. When you need a little something.
Yeah, real. I also think, see, like, me just rewriting Wicked, like, not how the ending should, like, disregarding the Wizard of Oz, like, just my ideal outcome, right? Mm-hmm. I would keep everything the same. Mm-hmm. We get to the wedding. We get to the post of the wedding. The wizard clearly cannot be trusted. He's a fraud. And Elphaba's sticking to her guns. She's released them all, and she's like, fuck you, and I'm gonna fucking kill you, actually.
Yeah.
And then we get to that scene. Cage, the two of them. He's like, I'm going with her. And then Glinda's just like, I want to go with her, though. So, and then he's like, okay, yeah, let's just all go with her. And then they just fuck off to the woods and happily ever after and have sex, and then, everything surely resolves itself, because also I think...
Because imagine it was long as your mind, but with Glinda in it, too. Ugh!
Like that, like, he has this love for Glinda, but it's, like, in the sense of, like, I feel like they're more based on, like, they can be bestie vibes because they get each other, they're so similar, and they're attracted to each other, but with Elphaba, for both of them, it's so much deeper because she sees them for who they are and what they could be. You know what I mean? She elevates them both, but they also validate her. It works so perfectly. And, like, let me amend my statement about that. He's pointing the gun at the wizard. He blows the wizard's shit smooth off. Like, wizard is dead. Wizard is straight up dead.
Kills him.
Straight up kills him. Okay. And then he's like, I'm going with her. And then Glinda's like, well, good. Let's go. And, like, so that, like, and she's not even mad. She's just like, well, yes, I've been waiting for this to happen.
Yeah.
Like, I was expecting Elphaba to come save me before. Honestly, and
the fact because it's like 5 years after she said no, which we debate on, like, did she really say no, though? Like, she hesitated. Right. She never said the words no.
I think they
like,
purposely left it ambiguous for the movie sake.
But I guess
I think the play is more obvious.
True. But I guess she just wasn't ready yet. She still was.
I think there was hesitation, and the hesitation is what leaves. I think in the movies, my take of the movie is she's obviously hesitating and she doesn't think she's gonna go. Yeah. And that's why she's getting upset and starting to cry, and that's why Elphaba's starting to cry, and she's getting Elphaba already because she's like, I can't go with you, I can't help you, there's nothing I'm gonna contribute, I don't have powers, and you are this big person. But then Elphaba flies around and, like, has the big reveal and gets all the guards off of her, right? She's like, don't touch her, you want me, blah blah blah, it's me you want. And then Glinda gets captured, and that's why she doesn't go, right? But in my opinion, I think if they run out to go, and she's just running fucking with her. Like, she is running, like, Glinda, like, they're going, but then Glinda gets grabbed, and she's like, no, it's me you want, blah, 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 and then she, and that seals the fate. But I think the movie purposely does that, because I think the whole idea is, like, Glinda doesn't think she's gonna go, but when it comes down to it and they're in the moment, she is. Mm-hmm. But then the grounding back to reality, I think also probably to represent her own hesitation, but I think from my perspective, it's like she would have gone, she was thinking about the consequences and she didn't think she could, but then it was happening and she was like, no, I want to be with you, I'm going. And then someone actually physically stops her and it, like, brings her back to reality, and she doesn't yell for Elphaba to come get her because she wants Elphaba to get away.
Right.
So in my perspective, I do think that she in a way chooses to go with Elphaba, but I think the movie poses it as, like, a subconscious thing. Yeah. She doesn't realize that she's doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I agree. Meanwhile, I think, though, for the secondary part of, like, at the point of, like, we would hope that she would go with them, with Fiyero, with like at the cage scene, at the post.
Well, I feel like
it's
obvious that she should, like, this would be the moment, but of course she's not gonna. She just realized
yeah,
because
at that point, then she's getting
her life
the
has been a lie for 5 years. Her romance.
Well, and she's been living her supposed dream, which she is coming to realize at that time is not actually the dream she's wanting, but she's been living the dream for supposedly 5 years, and is like, she's not ready to give that up because it's all she's ever wanted, and who is she without this popularity, because she's also not the wizard at that point.
Yep.
And so she's not, like, at that point, she loves Elphie, and obviously she gets to that point, but she's just like, she's not ready to give all that up yet.
Yep.
But God, if she would! God, if she would!
Agree.
They could go crazy. They could go crazy.
You're just, like, a little too heavily on it, and I'm afraid you're gonna rip it out. Let me just, like, yank on it a little.
Oh. She's like, fine, I'll leave.
I think in my dream reality, that's when Glinda goes, because she makes a lot of quick realizations really fast.
Yeah.
But obviously in the play, it does. I think my own version makes less plot sense in terms of character arcs than the actual.
Yeah.
Because that's, I feel, the most obvious place where Glinda would not go at that point. In terms of the potentials for her to go with Elphaba or choose to do the right thing.
Right.
That seems like, this is Glinda at her lowest and the most shattered and the most...
Yeah.
You know, that's why it directly leads to Nessa's death, because she's...
Right. She's so hurt.
Yes.
Yeah.
But in my ideal world, Glinda don't care, and she's like, and now we're all gonna be together. She's on it right away. Wizard
like, well, I didn't
dead.
want his bitch ass anyways. We can have... I guess maybe it is, though, if you see it about it in the Gelphie light, it's like, okay, why are you choosing him and not me? If you were
I
gonna
agree.
take someone, why wouldn't you take me?
I think Ariana Grande leaned into that heavily.
Yeah.
That was one of the things I actually really liked about this part too, and that scene specifically, because it's both at once. Like, it's for the plot, Fiyero based, but I think Ariana's Glinda really shines through that it's a betrayal of Elphaba, because and the way that she says, you guys the whole time, and like she's thinking Elphaba was fucking on my man the whole time, but because Elphaba's doing that, and Elphaba's capable of a secret romance, but it's him that she's choosing. And I think every time Ariana Grande, the script really drives home the, like, you love her, but I think that like that and it's supposed to be, I think, as written, you love her, but I think Ariana drives it home as a, you love her, and, like, in her head she's thinking Elphaba loves him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Saying and thinking something different.
Because she is more hurt by Elphaba, because she doesn't, you know, obviously she's hurt by Fiyero too, but that doesn't hit her the same. I think it's because A, she's in love with Elphaba, but B, she can understand why Fiyero loves Elphaba, because she loves Elphaba too.
Yes.
So she's like, well, of course he's in love with her, because so am I.
Right.
So I'm not hurt by that, because I am
like I said from the beginning, I think Ariana purposefully plays a closeted lesbian Glinda, like, so on the nose. Like you were just saying, I think as written, it's supposed to drive home of course you love her, because of course you see her greatness, because I see her greatness.
Yeah.
But I think it's played out in the screen of course you love her, because I see the same thing I just said. I see the greatness, but I'm in love with her too.
Yeah, exactly.
I love her in that same way. Of course you would, because we are the same.
Yeah.
And she is what makes us deeper.
They're both perfect, and that's why it was never,
yes.
you know, they both say that, and that's why it never works. Like,
and also I think that, sorry, this was another thought that I thought of and it had left my mind. I also think she is more betrayed by Elphaba, because she does not, I think, by the time, like, as we see her, I think she's questioning whether or not Fiyero has feelings. Like, I don't think she's accepted it for Elphaba, but I think she starts to question it way back, even when the train scene first happens. You know what I mean? I think it's it's a small thought in the back of her head. I don't think she truly believes it.
But it's obvious. She's like, what is wrong with him? He's been thinking.
But I think what flabbergasts her and what she cannot believe is that Elphaba would love him. And I think that's a big difference from what is intended versus what I think. Because I think her shock is to see this play out, and Elphaba would be like, yes, let's run away. And not be like, I came here for you, Glinda. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And especially juxtaposing where this whole wedding scenario plays out with Elphaba coming to see Glinda first.
And she's in her wedding dress, which, like, I don't feel like that was obvious in the trailer. I mean, I'm sure there were scenes, but she puts that, like, that nightgown type mesh dress over it, so it just looks like a pink dress. But like the just going to see her before she gets married, I was like, is she gonna say don't get married for it? Like she's like, no, don't marry him, marry me. Like that's what it was giving.
And breaking the window in the exact way from when they first, it was giving. I genuinely think that if any other actors were playing these three though, that it would not feel the way it did, because I think as written there's things that we can assume are some subtext, but I think you yourself have to believe it to see it, and I don't think that's necessarily true for how the movie plays out. I think that it's suggested to us as opposed to us reading into it. I think it's obviously some bit of both in reality, but I think more than ever the movie was suggesting it to us.
True.
And the actors were suggesting it to us.
Mm-hmm. I think that's true. Definitely depends on how people are playing it, because I think that's the same way with the musical. I think some people in the musical they do just have Elphaba and Glinda kiss. Mm-hmm. So it's like it's really up to the actors to make that decision if that's the type of relationship they're going to portray, and like I think that's what they were trying to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as long as, and now that I'm thinking about it again, as long as your mind played out with all three of them, would have went fucking insane and crazy. That would have went crazy. I think more clothes had to be taken off also during the scene of As Your Mind, but I get that it's sort of like a preteen/kids movie, and
that they really did the like YA book like pan away to the fireplace, but they pan. I was like, they really
not that scene wasn't gorge, and that like I love like when they're floating and stuff. And
that was beautiful.
And Jonathan Bailey, literally the only piece that's missing for me buying that they monogamously love each other in a straight way. The only thing the only piece that does not let me buy it is my own bias and thoughts. My own perception of the story already, because Jonathan Bailey was selling that straight love and that straight lust and that straight yearning. I was like, it's like I felt like he was trying to shove it down my throat in the sense of like really trying to convince me. And like I'm like, I am kind of eating it up from you right now. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think he did an amazing job.
Agree. He does it well.
He does it well. But only a gay man could pull off something that beautiful.
Of course.
Oh, of course. And I guess whoever played Conrad in The Summer I Turned Pretty, he does it pretty well as well. There's some yearners out there that are probably straight actors, or maybe they aren't, but no one's doing it like Jonathan Bailey is doing it. Yep, that too. I saw though
Jonathan Bailey as Mr. Darcy now.
Yeah.
Need to see that.
But then I fear I would just need the actress who I think her name was Kate, whoever the girl he gets with in season 2 of Bridgerton.
Oh yes,
running her back as Elizabeth Bennet.
So good together. Yeah,
she would have to be Elizabeth Bennet if I'm gonna be sat. I mean, I'll probably be sat, but for me to be like, yes, this is the dynamic that would eat. I know Pride and Prejudice front and back in all the dynamics, like the back of my head, and like there's just actually no other female actress who I would be like, yeah, that's who needs to go in that spot. Fair. But a tweet I did see that also related to that As Long As Your Mind scene was someone said Elphaba wore that, what is it called, like that teddy
the teddy
under her clothes, knowing that someone was coming back. She did not know who, but she knew she was bringing someone coming back to the crib.
Someone coming back to the crib. I don't give a fuck.
She said, I'm interrupting this wedding and one of y'all is coming back with me, one or both.
Oh,
imagine you set out to get married and you end up with your fucking perfect throuple happily ever after fucking in a treehouse. Like,
oh my god.
Wow. Like, just let me rewrite it, please. Just, like, let me in there.
Dang.
Ginger, did you just shit somewhere? I feel like you might have.
In your pretty princess dress?
She doesn't poop, she shits.
Should we move on? We could probably talk about this for hours upon hours.
True. I know, and it's not even like a cohesive, like linear, like we're just pulling shit.
Exactly.
I've been thinking about it actually literally the entire day and all night. Yes, and I've been listening to the soundtrack all day. Oh, I went to Target to pick up an order for tomorrow for our Friendsgiving that we're having, and I was playing the soundtrack and a girl came out and she had like pink everything on. And she was like, oh, I'm going to see it tonight. And I was like, you're going to love it. It was cute. So that is cute. Yeah, we can move on to some unsolicited advice after our Yeah, I knew it was going to be a Wicked episode going in.
Yeah.
I could not
There's just
sleep
no
last
way.
night. I was so high on the adrenaline of watching Wicked for good. Like,
I wish it was on streaming already.
I couldn't fall
I don't wanna
asleep
have to
till
go to
like
a movie to
2
watch
or
it.
2:30 in the morning, almost 3. I was so, and it wasn't like I'm you know, sometimes you're just on your phone and then you can't fall asleep because you've perpetrated your own
right
doom.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't. I was for a while, but like I did not sleep for maybe 2 hours after I put the phone down. And I was just laying there thinking about it and my opinions and how badly, now that I've sat with it for 24 hours, the shock has, like, I think I watched that movie in like a shock state.
Yeah.
And like a panic state where like nothing was truly penetrating past that panic state, where I'm like, no, put me back in again.
No, exactly.
I need to see it again.
Agree.
To form harder opinions.
Because when you just don't know how they're gonna do the takes, you're just so like focused on like
what's going on.
But now you can like actually like appreciate it and realize what's happening and like take into account the effort that they put into it versus just as like figuring out what's happening.
Yeah. When I say I might just go back tomorrow, like, I'm sincerely debating it.
That's real.
And hey, that's why you need an AMC A-lister account. And actually, that's the whole reason I got it, because of how much money I was spending on Wicked last year.
Yeah.
Whereby it was like one of the last months. It was for like 4 months, I think, in theaters. It was the last month and I was still going. And I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna get an AMC. And I think I saw it once or twice with the AMC and just have had it since.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I'm gonna need this in a year's time.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm right.
Yeah. Okay, so advice. Someone asks for self-care solo weekend ideas. Well, you could see Wicked for good about like 8 times, right? Like between both days. Like, I don't know. That is a good question. I think self-care solo weekends, think about the things that you've been wanting to do and then just do them by yourself. I mean, it's hard to do them by yourself, but like things that you've just been thinking of that's always on the list that just get put down the priority. Like if you're actually like making an effort to be like, this is going to be a self-care weekend, then I hope you feel comfortable putting in the effort to say, these are the things I've been wanting to do and now I'm going to do them. So getting a massage if you always thought about that, a facial, or taking yourself to a restaurant that you've always wanted to go to, going to a movie that you've really been wanting to see but you can't make plans with your friends to go see it, or, you know, just anything that will fill your cup that just is hard to do with others, just like for scheduling reasons, or it's hard for you to feel like you want to put money towards it. So hopefully if you can make it a dedicated weekend, you're like, I'm putting more money towards it because it's an investment in yourself, like, or a gift to yourself. So yeah, I don't know how many specifics I really have. I've been known to go to a restaurant by myself sometimes, read a book if it's quiet enough, or Elizabeth goes to movies by herself all the time because of the A-lister. Any of those really self-care, you know, nails, face, hair, any of those things could really count. Whatever it feels like you're doing something nice for yourself. Something maybe a little out of the ordinary. Don't try to just do what you normally do, I guess. But
I guess for me, if I have a weekend where I'm not doing anything, like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I guess maybe I don't label it self-care, but to me, the weekend is a balance of 3 things. Rotting, or like, and for me, I can't, if it's daytime, I can't sit on my phone. I only do that explicitly at night. Which is probably not a good thing for my sleep. But, like, for me, rotting is, like, sitting on the couch and watching YouTube or, like, a ton of a TV show or a ton of movies. Like, something that's, like, kind of mindless and sort of, like, not productive. Something fun that you've been wanting to do. And for me, that a lot of the time is going to the movies. Or, like, something fun, I guess, that you're gonna do for yourself, but it's, like, a solo date. You're taking, like, how you go eat food or something like that. And, like, something that you want to do and just doing it alone. And then also something productive that you've been putting off. For me, if I have a solo weekend, I'm balancing all those 3 things. 9 times out of 10 for me, It's deeply clean or like cleaning in the sense of not putting things away, but like scrubbing the shower, or scrubbing the toilet, or reorganizing. But you can't spend the whole weekend or a whole day doing just that, because then it's miserable and it doesn't feel
like
the good
self-care.
payoff. You need to do all, I feel like, a balance of all three, of like this. But also, if you just spend the whole weekend sitting and rotting on the couch, it's not going to feel like self-care. It's going to feel like self-imposed isolation.
Yeah.
So like a mix of those three things is sort of my
that sounds
suggestion.
Like a perfect concoction for sure. And then also, I think the doing something productive maybe helps you feel less guilty, because I think that's also a lot of, we feel like doing something for ourselves makes us feel guilty, whether that's spending money on it, or if we're just doing nothing and that's our self-care, we feel like gross about that. So hopefully, like, if you balance it out with just doing one thing productive, and it doesn't have to be anything crazy or like hard or like something you don't genuinely want to do, but something that's good for you, or like that just like makes you have a better peace of mind, then you can balance that with, well, yeah, did you rot away 8 hours? Yes. But did you actually get something done that made you feel good? Also, yes. So that's okay. So yeah, I hope you have a great self-care weekend. If you, drop your self-care ideas in the chat for other people, people who are watching, drop it in the comments. If you have other advice or some fun things you've done as a self-care weekend. I know we've had some friends that have just gone on solo trips by themselves for fun. So that's neat too. So yeah.
While Morgan was talking, Ginger was whining at the end of the bed, and I was like, come on, just jump, girl. Like, you can do it. Like, you don't need my express permission. But now she's here.
Yay!
Let her speak
Come
aloud.
with us.
She hates when I serenade her.
Unlimited.
She especially hates when I do Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, I got a good picture of me singing, I was singing something to Oreo from Wicked. I can't remember which song now, and he was just like...
well, we have that TikTok now of us singing Defying Gravity. Perfect to promote either this episode or even just during this Wicked era.
Yeah.
Perfect timing.
Definitely.
Ginger. Goodness knows the wicked.
Oh, she really is moving her butt away so you can stop touching her.
Goodness knows. Do you see how much she hates it?
Really
she does not
does.
like being serenaded. It just shows when you're wicked, you're left only. She, especially because when I serenade her, I really like to get in her face too, or I make her dance along. But that's what she was doing right now. When Morgan was trying to talk, and I was like, "Girl," she was like getting ready to straight up start barking, and I was like, "That's why I put the mic down," and I was serious. Like, "You can just come. You can just get up here. I'm not getting off my ass." Okay, this is my advice. Question. My roommate told me she returned her ex-boyfriend's really expensive snowboard after they broke up, but the cops just showed up at our shared apartment with a warrant to search for it. Turns out she never returned it and has been taunting him over it. She's convinced the cop wasn't real and just some guy her ex hired, but I called to check and it's absolutely real. What should I do about this? I can drop the snowboard off at the police station, but I'm not sure I even want to get involved. And to that, I say I wouldn't go as far or as involved to drop off the snowboard for her, but I mean, I would just tell the cops, like, to be honest, if someone's already, I just feel like your roommate's kind of fucking you over in the sense of, like, cops coming to your house and having a search warrant. So it's already a level of disrespect to you and an involvement to you. Like, I would probably just either go to the police station or call up the cops and be like, no, she's told me about this snow, like, we've talked, or since the cop thing, like, I know that she basically, moral of the story, just be like, I know she has it, and that's it. I don't think I would take it from her and bring it to the cops, because I think that's a level of involvement that I would not want, and a level of direct conflict with the roommate. I guess maybe going behind the roommate's back and telling the cops anyway. I would tell both of them. I'd tell her, I'd be like, okay, well, the cops are coming here, so I'm going to tell the cops that you have the surfboard, or snowboard, because you've told me. And then I'd call the cops and be like, she has the snowboard, whatever you have to take up with her, then leave me out of it, please.
Yeah. I mean, that's so hard, because if they come with a search warrant and then they're in your space and, like, invading it, like, it would be easiest if she just fucking turned it in. Like, then you don't have to have cops invading your space. But I don't know if she's, like, straight up denying that it's real. I guess, like, how do you know that it's real? And then have you shared that with her that you know it's real and how you know? And is she just straight up denying
the cops, it? Like,
so
the
then
police
did you
station,
tell
and
the
they
cops?
said, yes, it's real.
So then did you tell her that you called the cops and they said that they are actually trying to pursue this? I guess that's where I'm getting, because it's just like, if she's straight up denying the fact that this is the reality of what's happening after you've told her, like, no, those are fucking real cops, you need to do something about this, then I think it is, like, you gotta just go to the cops and say, like, how can I don't want this, like, I don't want to have any involvement with you or this. How can I get this out of my life? Like, what can I do to just make this stop? I mean, other than, I don't think you can really just take the, like, yeah, I don't think you can get involved with just turning it in. But I think my avenue would be like, girl, this is real. You need to do something about this, because you're having cops come to my place and I'm not cool with that. I don't know. I guess I don't know your relationship with the roommate, but for me, I'd be like, you're being a bad friend. I don't even give a fuck that you have this man's snowboard. I don't care. I don't care about this man. But now the cops are involved and they're coming to my house and I'm not chill with that. I don't want cops at my fucking doorstep. So please, like, I don't care what you do with it. I don't care how this is resolved. I don't care if you shatter it in a million pieces and then return it to him and be like, oops, sorry. Like, I don't give a fuck. But you need to solve this cop situation, because I don't want these fucking cops at my door. And if you're just straight up denying them to your face and they end up storming into my place, I'm not chill with that. These are people that have guns. That's not cool to me. That's where I think I would come from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ugh,
I think taking
terrible.
the snowboard from her and returning it opens too many avenues of conflict, and also involves yourself as an implication, in my opinion, to the crime, with the cops being the one to deliver it to them.
Yeah, definitely.
But
and then, yeah, I don't know if it's the level of the cops now, and then, like, there's, like,
and you don't know how the boyfriend's going to implicate, ex-boyfriend's going to implicate you as well if you get involved in that way.
Yeah, a man will love to blame you for just being associated with the girl, so... I'm sorry for you. Like, I'm sorry that this is the situation you have to be in, because, like, it's none of this is upon you, so that stinks. So hopefully it's resolved in a way that's least harmful to you.
Yeah, I agree.
Dang. Alright. Must recommend? I mean, like, we kind of already said you need to watch
I have
Wicked.
a different one.
No, go for it then.
I'm sure a lot of you have heard of the show, but this is not my recommendation, but you'll understand when I explain. There's this show that it's associated with, like, the most cringe of, like, the nerds and dorks of the world and congoers, but that's okay. I am that cringe. But Has Been Hotel is a show on Amazon Prime. It takes place in hell. It's about the daughter of hell trying to create a hotel to rehabilitate sinners so they can go to heaven, right? And the creator of that had a show that is now owned by Amazon Prime as well, but wasn't. She was self-publishing it on YouTube, and that show is called Hell of a Boss, and that is the show I'm recommending. Has Been Hotel is also pretty good, but I think it does not show... I just really like the hair. I discovered both of these things about 2.5, 3 weeks ago. Watched Hell of a Boss all the way through over, like, a week and a half. Was sick, so I watched Has Been Hotel season 1, and there's 2 seasons of Hell of a Boss. Loved it, cried at the ending, and it's a musical show, so, like, there's music, at least a song a show, and you can listen to the albums too. So yeah, no one who knows me look at my earbuds, because it's fucking embarrassing right now, like, actually in a real serious way, and I'm really happy Wicked came out to try to, like, get me out of this. But I watched Has Been Hotel in pretty much a day, and there's a lot of queer characters, there's so many queer storylines, the world is so interesting. But Season 2, I also just happened to watch as the back half of Season 2 Has Been Hotel was airing. So I just got to watch the finale and, like, be a part of it. Very cool. But what I'm suggesting is Hell of a Boss. Hell of a Boss is about imps from hell. Imps are, like, hellborn demons that are, like, the lowest of the low rank of class. So, like, low-class citizens, per se. And it's about this guy named Blitz, and he is an imp, and he wants to create his own business so that he's not a slave to the upper demons of hell for his whole life, and that he wants to make a life for himself. Him and his 2 besties who are married, so funny, bisexual guy and implied bisexual woman, so funny. They're such a good relationship dynamic. He's pansexual, but also he gets in a gay situationship with, like, demon royalty, and it's so toxic yaoi. It's so fucking good. But anyway, he creates a business, and his business is that he goes up to Earth and assassinates anyone who ends up in hell. Like, if they pay him, he'll go kill whoever fucked them over, or whoever killed them, and whoever he wants. And it's really good. It's about a lot of things. I don't know if you know who Brandon Rogers is, but he is a queer comedian. He was the one who does, like, fuck off, Janet, I'm not going to your fucking baby shower. That was from one of his
yeah.
skits. He's really crass and pretty vulgar, and the tone of the show, he's the main character. He's the voice actor, the main character, and a heavy writer, and, like, both shows are, like, adult animation, pretty vulgar. I just love it. I'm obsessed. Hell of a Boss is, I really emotionally relate to, and the music I think is better, but I like both, but, my must recommend is please. Now it's on Amazon Prime, but it's also on YouTube to watch because it was originally free and now it's still free. I think future seasons will only be on Amazon, but the 2 that are out are on YouTube and Amazon Prime. Highly suggest. Really good animated show. I'm obsessed, and I listened to one of the breakup songs between that toxic yaoi situationship from the end of season 2 like 10 times Wednesday. Like, driving to and from D&D. I'm actually serious. I would just be like, they'd get to the end and I'd be like, and again.
Yeah.
And again. And then the next day, Airbuds was like, your stats from yesterday, you listened to All To You, motherfucker, 10 times yesterday. And I was like, and well, don't go showing that to other people, please.
Right.
But, like, I'm already plotting on a Hell of a Boss tattoo. I bought shit from Hell of a Boss at Comic-Con. Like, I am deep in it now. I'm so deep in it. I am obsessed.
Yeah.
Discovered somehow something new to get really deeply obsessed with and involved with, and I needed everyone to know. Like, it's only been since the last time we filmed, and I've completely consumed both shows. Somehow was there for a finale premiere, and am now deep in all of the fan art, the fan fiction, the TikTok, all my social medias are tuned to it. Like, I'm all in, so if anyone wants to, I can assure to all of you, you should get into it. It's worthy. It's a worthy thing to lose yourself in, I think.
Awesome. I guess I'll just sum up to say, support your Gelphie editors. So I know we're probably, by the time this comes out, I bet we're in the prime.
I've already seen so many.
Oh yeah, definitely. And they're
crazy.
like the quality being shit because it's just people filming in the theater.
Yeah.
But I'm like, by the time, I feel like we're gonna get better quality and like, yeah. People are gonna be going crazy with the new scenes. So like, support your editors. Like, they really keep the world moving around. Can we leave on the note? Can we talk about, you said this before, like, fan fiction makes the world go round, which is what Wicked is.
Yeah.
Right. So
no, like, literally, Wicked. What your guys are seeing of Wicked would not exist if Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo weren't fangirls who got cast in their dream roles as the dream characters and then heavily influenced it from their own fan fiction self-insert headcanon perspectives of the characters.
Oh, I just meant, like, Wicked itself is a fan fiction.
Oh.
Because it's a fan fiction of Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
But yes, I mean, even the layers...
I meant the movies.
The layers go even forward past that, but, like, fan fiction literally makes the world go round.
Yep, I agree.
So, anyways.
All right. Follow us on our socials where We Know Better Pod everywhere, but on TikTok it's 2Ds. She's More Cooper 2020 on TikTok and Instagram. I'm Elizabeth Rose Penabrown on Instagram and Edgy Liz on TikTok. And as always, our advice link is in our description below, as well as the bios. I was gonna say in our bio, and that didn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that'll be all from us. See you guys in December.